Line's good.
Never on.
Close.
Hard. Please.
Come on, Brent. Line's good. Got real close. The hair high, right? Try and hit 2/3.
Have they saved it for her? Yes, they have.
Ooh, welcome to Game of Stones, everybody. I am Sean Graham Scott. Alongside, as always, hello, Scott.
Well, Sean, hi.
Hello.
Last time we saw each other, we were losing a curling game.
Correct.
But since then, so much has happened that I can barely even remember.
Yeah. Lost Monday night. I barely remember it. Not so much because, well, a lot has happened since then, but I was going on like 3 hours sleep. So that was, and I wasn't feeling great either. And there you have it. So just, I know we lost.
That'll get you. Yeah, that'll get you. So, tough go. Hope you're feeling back to 100% soon.
Me too.
But we did have a real fun weekend together in Halifax at the curling trials. It's now Wednesday night. The round robin has just concluded. Pretty exciting stuff. And I think we're going to talk about it all.
Yeah, so we'll get into everything that has gone on in Halifax so far. We are down to 6 potential teams that will represent Canada at the Olympic Games. 3 men's, 3 women's. So 10 teams have been eliminated through the course of the round robin. We were there for the weekend. It was really fun. We had a big group, 8, I think, when we tallied it all up, when we went for brunch and then for dinner on Saturday. I think our reservations were for 8 people. So that was pretty fun. And then over the course of Sunday, people peeled off to return to their respective homes in Manitoba and Ontario. So, and then eventually to New Brunswick and also then back to Ontario. So it was a fun weekend. See some folks that I don't get to see very often. So that was a good time.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of fun. Good crew. Everybody liking the curling, having some good convos about the curling. And for you and I, we had a chance to talk to some of the players, sit up on the media bench, talk to some of the behind the scenes people, some of the volunteers and stuff. Everybody I met was really, really pleasant, and it was a great show.
Yeah, so let's get into what we've seen here, Scott. Let's start with the men, because that just happened as we record this at 9:24 Eastern Time on Wednesday night. Brad Gushue has been eliminated with his loss to Brad Jacobs. Gushue, tough day today, losing both of his games to be eliminated. Very emotional, Brad Gushue walking off the ice that we saw on the broadcasts. He is, that's it. His last trials. He will, of course, be at the Brier, which will be his last national championship. But that's sort of the end of his Olympic journey. Better than most in terms of Olympic journeys. He's got 2 medals in his career. So, I'm sure when he has a chance to sit and reflect, be very pleased with that. Of course, it hurts in the moment. Scott, I don't think this is exactly like the Brier last year in this, I think it was the semifinal, where he had a shot to beat Jacobs and missed it.
Yeah.
I think this shot was slightly harder than what he missed in the Brier, but there was a shot to win the game. Brad Jacobs missed his last one, and there was a triple for 3. And there was a few ways that you could miss it. Like if you hit it way high side and it goes into your own, or if you hit it too low and it stuffs on the back one. He missed it in the way that is kind of hard to fathom.
Yeah.
He drove the Jacob stones in between the other 2 Jacobs, feathered one of them. But you throw that one 1,000 times, you're probably only making it through that hole. I mean, if you're Gushue and those guys, like 50 times maybe? Like that's really hard to do if you're trying to do it. And that I don't know. Like I hope somebody gets a photo of there's Botcher and Nichols and
Walker.
all just kind of standing there in disbelief.
Yeah.
Like Marc's got his broom behind his neck kind of in disbelief. Jeff is leaning on his broom and Brendan's kind of keeled over. It's just in this disbelief. And then you cut to Gushue, his hands in his face, or his face is in his hands, just in a sense of disbelief. But I think I certainly know I was
too. Yeah. I mean, it was, definitely harder than the shot he had last year, but it was super makeable. And I would expect him to make it most of the times. And I think he would too. Something that we'll need to look out for the rest of, this week, and then potentially at the Olympics and then at the Brier for Brad Jacobs' team. It seems like when he's getting down to the wire and rushing a bit, they're not quite as precise in putting the rock exactly where they want to be.
Yeah,
for sure. I heard him say, we got to choose something. We got to go quick. And I feel like that was kind of in his head. But back to Team Gushue. Yeah, like this is, to me, it's incredible that he lost. Like based on that, he had the shot.
Yeah.
In the ninth end, even when they decided to come in, abandoned the thought of blanking, and then went for giving up a steal of 1 to be only down 2. And you're thinking like, well, they're never going to get 3. But yeah, they got a stuff on a run back in the 10th. Like everything kind of lined up for them to do it.
Yeah.
And
what's all you need? You just need the one stuff.
Yeah.
They're trying to run a red corner guard onto the red Gushue stone and stuffed it. That's all you need to have a chance at 3.
Yeah. So, I mean, they basically got everything, and like the ice conditions were tough, but I don't think that came into play in that spot. I don't know. Maybe it was a bit soft and curled more than they thought. Russ kept saying like, oh, they needed it to curl more. And I thought they needed it to curl less.
Well, I think either one makes it.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like
if it curls more, if it curls a millimeter more, they probably make it. If it curls a millimeter less, they probably make it.
Yeah. So there you go.
You had it both ways.
Yeah. Crazy. It's just it's crazy that worked out that way. Team Gushue has been like, they were good all week. I'm looking at the score from this morning. I was busy this morning, so I kind of had it over my shoulder. But Brad Gushue curled 91%. The whole was over 90, except Nichols was at 89, and they lost to Mike McEwen. And what it came down to, I think, was in the 6th, there was a big 3 that McEwen scored, and then Gushue got a bit chasing and steals in 7 and 8. Is really what did it there. And yeah, you can chalk anything up to like the ice was tough. The crowd this morning was super loud. When I did manage to take a peek, the kids were really loud, really into it. But like you don't expect them to lose that kind of game. So, and then for them to come out tonight, and honestly, I don't know. I didn't see the whole game, and I was telling you before we got on that because it was on TSN2, my DVR didn't record it because apparently I'd only selected for TSN 1 or 4 or 3 or 5. So I didn't see it all, but I saw like the last few ends. And yeah, they were talking about the ice being tough, the frost building up. We'll see how they do this weekend. Once they go to one sheet, what the difference is going to be.
Yeah.
But I'm still, I guess, a little bit in disbelief that they managed to lose that game.
Yeah, it's certainly not what you expect, but that's where we are now. Gushue is out. McEwen is in. He not only beat Gushue this morning, he also beat Matt Dunstone tonight. That was a win and in game for both of those teams. And it's McEwen who comes out with the big 9-5 win. Dunstone does make it in because he beat Gushue during the round robin, but he is coming in on a 3-game losing streak. He was 4-0 when he went to bed on Monday night. and he is now 4-3 as he goes to bed here on Wednesday night, having lost to Cooey, Jacobs, and McEwen in those last 3 games. But he's in, and as I believe Herm Edwards once famously said, is, just got to get in the tournament. And they're in the tournament. They will, of course, play Mike McEwen in the rematch tomorrow night. Winner will go to the final in the best of 3 to play Brad Jacobs' team. So that is the situation on the men's side. I think, Scott, McEwen's been good. I mean, give them full credit. They were 1-2. They lost to John Epping on Sunday afternoon, and then lost to Brad Jacobs on Monday morning, and then have beat Cooey, Kleider, Gushu, and Dunstone 4 straight. So they're coming in with some momentum. Somewhat curiously, they have scored 9 points in each of their last 4 games, like exactly 9 points in each of their last 4 games. So they're generating points. They're doing what they need to do. And I got to tell you, Mike looks super relaxed. Yeah. Like, he doesn't even look like he's in like a prize points spiel. Like, he doesn't even look that stressed. Like, he looks like he's in Tuesday D level, just like that's how he's just having a good time. Like, he doesn't look stressed out there at all.
Yeah, man. He's mellowed quite a bit. He's got some perspective on what curling is at this age. And I mean, I won't say it's for sure his last chance, but it probably is. Like, maybe he could do one more, but to do what you need to do to be at the highest level, I don't know if he's feeling that. But Sean, you caught up with Mike McEwen, didn't you?
Indeed, I did. And I caught up with we caught up with a bunch of folks. And I think what's interesting when you're talking, Scott, about that perspective and what teams are doing, what people are feeling. So we actually asked a bunch of them about what it takes at this level. And some of them talked about the perspective of whether it's having been there before, having families. Others just talked about what it takes to come back from difficult moments and tough shots that go against you. If you remember Mike McEwen in his first game against Jordan McDonald made that round the house come back in shot. And so moments like that, what does it take to have some resilience, and how does perspective help you? So I've put a bunch of these together. It starts with Mike McEwen, but we'll hear from Mike McEwen, Brett Gallant, John Epping, Colton Lott, Marc Kennedy, Christina Black, Matt Dunstone, Rachel Homan, Kaitlyn Lawes, and Selena Sturmay.
You mentioned it, but how do you come back when somebody kind of picks your pocket like that? It felt like you guys played that in perfect, and then he makes that shot.
Yeah, we played a good end. I made, as good. I made my 2 as good as I could, my last 2, to force him into that. And
just get right here.
Sometimes those breaks go your way or not. I mean, it was there, and he that's all he had, and he made it. Sometimes you need breaks to go your way in this type of event. Fortunately, we were able to just kind of grind it out, persevere. But yeah, you might need a moment like that later on in the week to go your way, though, right?
I think you're not going undefeated in this field, I don't think, right? It's such a tough field, and every game's important, so just bounce back. We're just going to learn what we can from the game today, get a little more comfortable with the ice. We were just a little bit off on our draw weight. I think that cost us probably a little bit, and but yeah, it's a pretty good surface. It looks a little bit frosty, but the rocks are actually running really nice. So it's just sometimes that messes with your eyes a little bit. So just learn what we can and move forward.
With the younger guys, how did you get them ready for this environment since you've been here before, have that experience? How'd you sort of prep with them?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing to them has been just really enjoy this week. But not that I keep saying to everybody, we say we really want to enjoy the week, but that doesn't mean don't be okay if we lose. But it's just that, soak it in. What the chance you get to play in front of 8,000 people, for 7 or 8 games or however long we're in this thing, it's pretty special. And I just really want them to enjoy that, play their butts off, work as hard as they can, and hopefully at the end of it, we'll have more points than the rest of the teams.
Colton, after the 6th end, and you give up the steal there, what do you guys say in between ends when you come together? Or is there anything to say to keep the spirits up?
Yeah, there's not much to say. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, we know how resilient of a team we are, and just being able to park it and just move on. Like, that's in the past, and looking forward and doing what we know how to do to keep that pressure on and maximize our play.
Now, you guys are the only team in the field that have 4 Olympic medalists on the roster. How important is that experience for you guys? And when you're going through maybe a tougher patch with the ice and the opponents and that, like, how important is it to draw on the experience from the 4 of you?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. I think it just keeps you grounded, and at the end of the day, those are experiences that no one can ever take away from us. And I think we're all okay in our lives if we don't ever get back. And that gives you a little bit of perspective and allows you to go out and play free and have some fun and not worry so much about the result compared to when you were younger and you wanted to get there so bad you'd give anything to, right? So, yeah, that experience helps, and we've been in every type of situation before, and just staying calm and focusing on making the shots, and that can get hard out in this environment, but we did a good job of that one, and Brad made a great shot to win.
Christina, how do you bounce back after the 2 losses, especially sort of the way yesterday went, this morning went? Like, how do you regroup over the course of the day? Like, what did you do all day?
I laid in bed. Well, we went out to eat, had a good, brunch, right? Like lunch. And then I laid in bed and kind of napped and watched some of the men's game. And I just visualized in my head. I was mad about one shot earlier today where I came up light on a draw and gave up a steal of 2 in the third end. Because that's like my shot, is making a draw, to the button to score if we're in trouble. Like, I need to make those. So that was the only shot I wished I was mad at myself for. So I just visualized myself making out-turn draws for an hour while I was laying in bed. And then I came out there tonight and was throwing those a lot better and, feeling good about it.
Every experience, has a learning aspect to it. And the one thing I've learned is you never know what's good for you in this sport, and you never know what's bad for you either. One shot doesn't take away from, the great run we've been on over the 2 months. So right.
Yep. Do you still feel nerves at the beginning of an event?
Yeah, for sure. I think those nerves are good. It means you care. It means you want to be here. There's a prize at the end that you're gunning for. And, I think you're going to feel the nerves. And, lucky I got 3 other amazing athletes and an amazing support team here with us.
I think experience definitely helps. It doesn't hurt anyways. I feel like it's given me a really great perspective. I feel very grateful that I've had so many great trials experiences over the last decade and a half. And so every game out here just feels like a privilege. And now this is my first time playing as a mom, so that feels really even more special. It would mean everything to kind of show my girls that you can have goals, big dreams, and that you can go after them. And to do this with my teammates would mean everything. There's some new moms as well, 2 young boys, and it would just be so special to be able to know that we've been through a lot, big life changes, and we were able to come together at the right time.
Yeah, it'd be like a different sort of experience than being there, having that whole family environment, able to surround you and support you.
Exactly, and at the last Olympics, there was no fans, no friends, no family, and how special would it be to be able to see our little ones in the stands?
How different was it trying to prepare for this event after having already peaked at the event a couple of weeks ago?
Honestly, not too different. We took a lot of positives, things that we did well in the pre-trials, and just kind of built on our shot plan and our communication and our management of rocks a little bit more, and really not that different.
And first time for you at a trials event, is it any different than a Scottish?
I feel like there's definitely added pressure. This is a big event. It only comes once every 4 years, so everybody's putting everything out there, doing the most that they can, but I think the biggest thing for us is just to kind of enjoy the opportunity and just play our best.
All right, so Scott, interesting stuff there from all those players. And when you're thinking about that perspective and what it takes to come back from difficult moments, obviously whoever loses tomorrow on Thursday, they'll be out. But whoever loses those games Fridays, I think, are the games on Friday, that'll be really important for them. A lot of what these players said, to keep that perspective, to understand what it takes to bounce back from difficult moments. Because if you lose on Friday, you are not out. It's really important that you remember that.
Yeah, and you're not even it's not even like you don't have any room for error. It's that, yeah, you could like still have a bad end. You could still miss some shots, but like you can still win a game when you do that. And I think a lot of people talked about that, right? Like, oh, there's other teams are out there also making good shots. And sometimes you need to tip your cap to the other team and say, you know what, I did my best. I know what I left out there. And you today, or for this moment, we're just a little bit better. Yeah. And so be it. So this is something, Sean, I will take with me into our Monday night curling league.
Very nice. Very
More
nice.
perspective.
All right, Scott, let's shift over to the women's side where Rachel Homan is the number 1 seed here. She beat Carrie Anderson this afternoon in what was, like, similar to tonight's game. Like, the first, I don't know, however many ends wasn't too exciting. I felt in terms of sort of the style of play, but the game was really busted open in the 8th end with a steal of 2 by Rachel Homan, which was really on a miss by Carrie Anderson. And that flipped the game, and Rachel Homan gets the 1 seed. Of course, Rachel Homan had already lost the game over the course of the week. She lost to Gallant Skurlik on Sunday nights. That doesn't come back to hurt her. Carrie Anderson was undefeated, but of course on the head-to-head does fall back. Where the excitement really was this afternoon, Scott, was in the race for the 3rd place position where all the games mattered. So 3 teams, Christina Black, Kaitlyn Lawes, and Selena Sturmay, all had a chance in making it to the playoffs. I don't know if Kaitlyn Skurlik actually did. If all 3 of those teams had lost, then we would have had 4 teams at 3 and 4. So actually, Kaitlyn Skurlik might have had a chance, depending on how the last stone draw played out. But the way it ends up working is that all those teams who had a chance win, which means we had a 3-way tie: Christina Black, Kaitlyn Lawes, Selena Sturmay, and Christina Black gets through on the strength of the last stone draw because they all beat each other. They all went 1-on-1 against each other. Scott, what I think is really interesting about this is going into the final draw between those 3 teams, Christina Black had the worst last stone draw. So at the last stone draw before the last game, hers was that much better than the other 2 that they were able to overtake Selena Sturmay and Kaitlyn Lawes. And that gets them the spot. It was also very exciting because Kaitlyn Lawes was down a point playing the 10th end against Kaitlyn Skurlik and made a run back to score 3 or maybe 4 to win the game, where I thought she could have chased on the intern side and scored that way. She went with the run back, probably an easier line call for her and Selena, and really her strength overall. But you could kind of feel it through the TV, the stress in the building, because it was Christina Black, and all of those fans, I think, if the locals, of course, want Christina Black to go through as the local team, and you could feel it a little bit. And the excitement for Christina Black, they had the camera on her. It was very exciting to see them jumping up and down and being very excited. And then on the flip side, Selena Sturmay sort of has the gut punch of that shot being made. But that was a really exciting finish to the women's side.
Yeah, it was a super exciting finish. I'm just scrolling, Sean, through all of the playoff scenarios that Al sent out before the last game. And it doesn't seem like Team Skurlik would have been able to finish in 3rd place under any of these circumstances.
Okay.
But because there would always be at least one other team that got to 4 and 3. Because they were playing... they were playing Laws.
I think we could have had 4 at 3 and 4.
Yeah.
They might have just lost the wrong games, but...
Yeah, I think you're right. I think they would have lost the wrong games. But it was for 4, her last shot, Kaitlyn Lawes. And there was like this sort of undercurrent in the arena. And I don't know if Kaitlyn had realized at that point that they couldn't make it.
Hmm.
I think she had. But yeah, for her to like be composed enough anyway to bear down, make that shot, as devastating as it is for Team Sturmay, it's just sort of the exact opposite for Christina Black. And we were there on the weekend, Sean. They looked lost a bit out there through those first two ends, but to their credit, they had a super good attitude about it, sort of flush it. Those were their two hardest games, Anderson and then Homan. And, we know this team is good enough to compete with all the rest of the teams. So all you got to do is give yourself a chance. And what you said about the last stone draw coming through, just like pretty incredible for them to turn it around by such a big amount in one draw. And it's just important nowadays, right? I think, would tiebreakers always be better? Probably, right? Give everybody the chance, to have a slip up early in the week. And as long as now it's like, if you slip up to the wrong team, then whoops, you're done. So but that's not the way we're playing it, and so be it. But yeah, like huge celebration for Team Black. They're in this. They got a little revenge, I think, to go with what happened with them against Anderson on Saturday. So yeah, and Sean, you told me that Christina Black listens to the show, actually. So we have to cheer for one of our own listeners.
Yeah. So yeah, Christina Black, when we talked to her underneath, said that she listened to the show, and of course we're fans of that. We're fans of Christina Black. And when you look at that last stone draw, Scott, 71 centimeters, I assume, for Christina Black in the last draw, 133 for Selena Sturmay, 190 for Kaitlyn Lawes, and that's the difference
there you go.
in that in getting into the playoffs. There, it was also really cool yesterday morning, Scott. Jen Baxter, I didn't know she was a teacher, but one of her students was there, and they showed him on the broadcast a few times. So when they won, she ran up, and I think I think he uses a wheelchair and has some special needs. So she ran up and like gave him a hug and was with one of the other teachers, and she still had the mic. She didn't take her mic off. So they let it run a bit. And it was really cool. Just that interaction. She's like, "Hey, can you believe Miss Baxter won?" And it was like, "Hey."
Awesome.
Like, it was very cool moment to see there, and just what you get when they're, but you have the local team that's there. So that was a really cool moment for sure.
Yeah. And then I guess this is as good a time as any to transition to like what a tough day that the Team Nova Scotia had yesterday with us finding out the news that Colleen Jones had passed away. So, her daughter-in-law is the alternate on the team. It's just sort of a lot for this to be happening during this big event with all of the curling media there. The team did answer questions about it after, but such a sad story for such a great curler to have it happen at this time. With maybe it makes it a bit easier for the curling community to all be together in this kind of event to sort of process together and all that stuff. But tough loss for curling and for Canada.
It's one of those things where we had caught wind of her situation when we were out there a little bit. There was an up close and personal person with the team on, I believe it was Saturday afternoon, minus Colleen, of course. So the team was there, and yeah, as you say, tough news, of course. Colleen Jones, one of the best ever to do it. And from all accounts, I don't think I ever met her in person, interacted with her online a couple of times over things. And, but from all accounts, just a really, a wonderful person. And you saw it in the reaction last night. Kim Kelly gave a couple interviews talking about, she was asked, what are you going to miss most about Colleen Jones? And she just said, through tears, I'm just going to miss Colleen. Like, I'm going to miss my friend Colleen. And just that big smile and the laugh and everything throughout her life and her career. Certainly a really big loss. But then Vic said, everyone go out and get some bubble gum and have a nice tribute to Colleen Jones. And so obviously a tough day for the whole curling community, certainly the Nova Scotia curling community. We join everyone sending our condolences to family, friends, everybody out there out east, and everyone who loved Colleen Jones and loved watching Colleen Jones curl, what she did on TV. And it was amazing too. Like, she played in, what was it, the seniors a few years ago. She played in mixed nationals. She had that run, her and Kim Kelly and I think was it Marianne or was it Nancy that came back and played? I think with Lainey Peters, they made it to a Scotties.
Yeah.
I think while we've been doing the show, I can't remember the exact year, but that was pretty cool too, to see them come back. So it's just, really a tough day for that news to come down, and just, sending very positive vibes to everybody out there. Devin Haru, I would recommend a piece that he wrote on Colleen Jones. He interviewed her over the summer during a chemo session. So would recommend that. And yeah, just a tough one.
I'll use this platform, this opportunity then to tell my Colleen Jones story.
Okay.
Sean, because it seems appropriate. So in the summer of 2007, I was hired by the CBC as an intern doing stuff in the Weather Center. I'm a meteorologist. It makes sense. So I was living in Vancouver, but I flew to Toronto for a few weeks to do some training with the meteorologists there. And so I would go in every morning and build some of the maps that you'd see on TV. I'd build the animations and that kind of stuff, do a little forecasting as well. And I think what happened was everybody went to get a coffee and they left me alone in the newsroom. And the phone rings and I was like, I guess nobody else is going to answer this. I better answer it. And it was Colleen Jones on the other end saying, "Hey, I need some info about what the weather's going to be like the next couple days." It was for her broadcast, right? And I was like, okay. And so I talked her through a little bit with kind of a shaking voice, but I was a bit starstruck over the phone. A little bit about, okay, this is what I'm seeing in the weather patterns, et cetera, et cetera. And good news was it turned out to be right. I didn't blow it. But yeah, super friendly voice on the line. She wasn't like, "Who are you?" Just like, "You're there. You give me the scoop on what it's going to be like." Yeah.
Yeah. So Scott, of course, tough times, but as you say, really good for Christina Black and her team to get in. I actually did have the chance. Of course, this was before Colleen Jones passed away. But did have a chance in talking with Carly Burgess and Christina Black just about curling in Nova Scotia and why curling is so successful. I think I said this to one of them as part of my preamble, is that I think Nova Scotia kind of punches above its weight in terms of national championships historically and turning out good players. So here's what Carly Burgess and Christina Black had to say about curling in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, and just last one, what are some of the logistical challenges, though, of being an East Coast team, trying to make it, play the high-level events, and get the points, and just what are some of the biggest challenges of that?
Yeah, I think the population of curlers is so much more on the West Coast, through Manitoba and Alberta, that playing those teams, the events are worth more points. Around the East Coast, it's so hard to travel because it's so expensive to get out of the East Coast, and even playing here, you're limited to a smaller number of teams, and I guess that's probably it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I feel historically Nova Scotia may have sort of punched above its weight in terms of population size versus champions across the sport. What is it about this province that is continuously churning out high-level curlers that can compete despite some of the challenges?
I think that we're very passionate about curling, and we may have a smaller pool of people to draw from, but we've got some great facilities, some great coaching, and people that are just willing to work hard and practice. Like, we've got some great junior programs and great junior coaching that goes on in Halifax and throughout the province, really, and lots of tournaments and stuff. So they're really good at developing great junior curlers here in Nova Scotia. Yeah.
And what are some of the biggest challenges for you? Your team past couple of years has gotten out, played more and more, but being on the East Coast, a lot of the big events are central Western Canada. Just what are some of the biggest logistical challenges that you guys face?
Yeah, just traveling, it's hard, it's far to go, costs a lot of money, but it's more just so the time and how exhausting it is to travel out west and the time change, and we're all trying to work while we're at these events and stuff, so it's very exhausting and it's hard to kind of balance that, but you have to go to them. Ideally, we'd love to not go that far, but if the event's out there, if the event's out in Alberta, you gotta go, and and just try your best kind of thing. So we're happy to be here for this one.
All right, so there are Carly Burgess and Christina Black. Scott, another thing that we talked about, or that I was curious about, was the coaches. We have a lot of great coaches on the bench this week, and as we go into the playoffs here, understanding what the role of the coaches are, because if you think of a football coach or a baseball manager, basketball coach, a lot of what they're supposed to be doing is strategy and really managing the game. But in curling, that's not quite the same thing, right? You only have the one timeout. Some teams don't even have the coach go to do the consultation when a timeout is there, right? Shannon Kleibrink, for instance, wasn't going out when Kaitlyn Lawes was calling timeouts. So the role of the coach in curling can be a little bit different. So I had the chance to talk with Heather Nedohin, who's coaching Rachel Homan, Reid Carruthers, who's with Carrie Anderson, and Shannon Kleibrink, who was with Kaitlyn Lawes, just about the role of the coaches. And as you're watching the playoffs, you might be able to get a sense of what they're doing back there on the bench.
What is your role in helping them through this year, through this event?
Yeah, so definitely just, being an extra set of hands, an extra set of eyes. I would say I'm the observer right now, and doing tasks that are needed. And Rochelle is definitely a huge element on this team, being there for the years and such. But I'm just, what do you need, team? And I'm a bit of a multitasker.
Yeah, so we see a lot of coaches, yourself included, you got notebooks during the games, taking a lot of notes. What are you charting? What are you keeping track of?
You name it, from the rocks to our own throws, to our times, opposition, airflow, when things are cold, when things are warm, when things are looking and feeling different on the ice. Some of my notes are just silly notes, right? Just come back, read something funny, and move on. But it's a bit of everything.
We're tracking rocks, also tracking trends and patterns and in our makes and misses. It gives us an idea first on stones, because if we're seeing someone miss a certain way over and over and the throws looks good, it kind of flags a rock. And then the other thing we're watching for, and I'm taking notes on, is just strategy, things that we want to discuss in our post-game meetings.
Yeah, I mean, it's statistics, but it's really not the same as what you would see on TV, like the percentage. We're just tracking, did we miss our out turn on the wide sides, that we know what to practice for future, really. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so there you have it. Those are what the coaches are up to during these games. Scott, one other little sub note here from this event. This is the first time with the rule change by Curling Canada that the mixed doubles representatives can also be in the 4-person game. More correctly, vice versa, because in the past, if you won the 4-person, you weren't eligible to participate in the mixed doubles trials. Of course, the mixed doubles trials moved up a year. So Jocelyn Peterman, Brett Gallant had already won their spots, and they, of course, were in the field here. Jocelyn Peterman with Kaitlyn Lawes has been eliminated, but Brett Gallant with Brad Jacobs, at this point, you'd say they're the favorites because they're already in the final. Mm-hmm. And I just talked to the two of them about what it was like to already be at the trials with the spot booked. And notice, like in the Gold Line ad, they're in it because, well, they're going to be going.
They'll be there, yeah.
Right? So it's kind of this interesting notion of how do you understand, like, okay, you're going to be disappointed if you lose, but you also have to prepare to go anyway, and just what's that's like for the two of them. So I asked both of them separately what it was like in order to come to this event knowing that they already had their spot booked for Italy. You're the first player in Canadian trials history to play a game with a spot in the Olympics already booked.
Yeah.
With the rule change. Does that change at all how this feels for you or your approach or anything, knowing that you're going to be there no matter what happens this week?
I don't think so. We've always kind of treated mixed doubles and our men's and women's teams so separately, and we've been grinding and working hard with our men's and women's teams for 4 years. So, you still want to come out here and give it your best and have a great showing and do everything you can to get there with the ladies you've been working hard with.
Yeah, we've kind of had all summer to build a plan of what was going to work for our training, for mixed doubles and for our 4-person teams. So we've done a lot of training for mixed doubles at our club throughout the fall with our coaches, but at the same time, I still throw quite a bit with Benny and Paul for our men's team. So it's just finding the right mix, and so far so good. So it's just kind of feel really ready with this team for this event, and I know Jocelyn will be ready in a couple months' time.
All right, so I thought that was pretty interesting between the two of them. And it's interesting too, Scott, that there were a lot of connections in this field. I think we did the math on Saturday that 10 of the teams, so 5 women's, 5 men's team, had some connection between the two, whether it's partners or siblings or whatever it is, these connections. And that doesn't account for the friendships that just are built being out on tour or being at Olympics together, right? If you take Gushu and some of the players from the Jennifer Jones team from 2021,
right,
or 2022, who went through to the Olympics, or same thing with the teams that were there in 2018. So just this interesting dynamic of connections and what goes in to the sport. So with that, Scott, we have at minimum 6 games left of the Canadian Olympic curling trials, potentially 8. And has anything happened so far this week that you want to keep an eye on, like any trends that have emerged that you want to keep an eye on as we go into the weekend here?
We talked a little bit about the ice, just about sort of how frosty it seemed to be getting there today and tonight. So I want to keep my eye on that, mostly to see who complains about it. And but other than that, like everything has kind of gone to plan, right? I mean, I picked John Epping to win, so maybe not for me. But nothing has really stood out as being shocking. It's a bit of an upset to me that McEwen is in there ahead of Gushu, but again, not something that you would have been shocked about. Had Dunstone been the one that missed, that to me would have been the shocking story. 3 losses in a row. We heard the clips about resilience and how to bounce back, and know that he's worked a lot on the mental side of curling. And so seeing how his team responds, I think that's what's going to be big for me.
Yeah, and those clips too also talked about with both Dunstone and with Jacobs that, there's guys on both teams with gold medals already, right?
Yeah.
And then you have Mike McEwen, and none of those guys have been there before. None of those guys have won a Brier. Colton Lott. Colton Lott. Colton Flash has won a Brier, but the other 3 have not. None of them have been to the Olympics. So how much will that experience come into play as we go into the weekend? Same thing on the women's side, where Rachel Homan is going for her 3rd straight Olympics. Emma's been there before, and they are coming off the 2 world championships. But then you got Carrie Anderson, and she has her 4 Scotties, and then Christina Black just doesn't seem to be scared of anything.
No.
Right? She's just going to go out there and play and do her thing. Got her into a bit of trouble last weekend. Mixed it up straight away in both those games against Homan and Anderson. and fell behind in both. But that's the style of play that's got her here, and love seeing it. So this should be a lot of fun on the weekend. And with the exception of John Epping, all of our other picks are in play.
Yeah.
And by all of the other, I mean, we made 4 total. So 3/4 of the picks are in play.
Yeah. And I think I got off the plane on Sunday night and texted you and was like, what the hell happened to Homan? None of us were really expecting that. But the fact that she's rebounded and regrouped and is now into the final, definitely we were all expecting to see her there.
100%.
And yeah, I'm going to be rooting for Team Black, not because I don't like Team Anderson, but just because it'd be fun.
Yeah, and it's fun when the hometown team is there in a big game. So I would expect Halifax to turn out well tomorrow. Don't like that it's in the afternoon, but hey, that's the schedule. It is what it is. So there you have it. That's what we got for you. A bit of the audio that we got from Nova Scotia, from Halifax at the trials. We'll talk a little bit more about our experience behind the scenes there in our recap, which will come at you next week. So if you want to get that and all of our other episodes and you have not subscribed yet, please do. Wherever you get your podcast, like, rate, comment, all that good stuff helps other people find the show, keeps us growing. Of course, head on over to GameOfStonesPod.com. Past episodes are there, plus a link to the merch. We're on the socials at Game of Stones Pod, Game of Stones Podcast on Facebook. And if you want to let us know what you want to hear on the show, Game of Stones Podcast at gmail.com. Scott, as we record this,
yes,
we are, of course, deep into Olympic curling trials. The European curling championships are ongoing. We'll talk about that as well next week, but also some big news from your Toronto Blue Jays. What is your instant reaction?
Okay, good. Sign Bo. That's my instant reaction.
Okay. All right. There you go. Good analysis there. I like it. It fits with what they do.
Yeah.
A guy who's good and has a track record of not getting hurt.
Yes. That's the key. And, we've seen Gossman be a really good signing. Bassett was a really good signing.
Yep.
Barrios had a down year in 2023, but overall has been really durable and pretty good.
Got hurt this year, but okay. Happens.
Hurt. But he got hurt.
He was throwing way less velocity.
Yeah.
So something was going on with his arm.
Okay. He was.
You don't just lose 2.5 miles an hour.
He was also
in the middle of the season.
Bad, and so
because he wasn't throwing as hard.
There you go. So yeah, I think it fits, and I just don't want it to be the only thing they do with the playoff bonus money. But because I heard them sniffing around Ketel Marte, which is a bit interesting if you're thinking of signing Bo. I don't think the Diamondbacks are going to trade him, but I sort of thought they should have gotten him when they traded Moreno. But anyway, Dalton Varsho we have, and so I'm excited that first big hot stove news for the Blue Jays has passed.
Yep.
And I hope it's not the last. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I agree. So see what happens there. And we'll see what happens with the trial. So we'll talk with you again next week once the Olympic teams for Canada are set. As I say, we'll also talk about the Euros at that point, and we'll start to look ahead to the last chance qualifier and all the other things that are coming up in a very busy month of December here in the world of curling. For our friends in the United States, have a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving. And for everybody else around the world, have a wonderful Thursday. So with that, we'll say thanks so much for listening, everybody. We'll be back with you again real soon. But until then, keep those brooms on the ice and don't dump that intern.
Make the final.